Next up on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, we are still sticking to a rather heavy subject as well, depression. We all know that it is a very real and a very serious condition, and it affects all different kinds of people from all walks of life as well. Now, two very famous South African women recently sat down with Thenji to explain exactly how they dealt with depression.
Depression is a challenging illness that is often misunderstood and tricky to deal with. It can affect anyone without their loved ones realizing it, even our most beloved famous faces.
My Lillian, Sis Hlubi, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your experiences with Expresso, but most importantly, with the people who need to hear that they're not alone. At what point did you realize that you were dealing with something a lot more serious than you had initially thought?
My darling, I can't tell you that I knew what I was suffering from. I just didn't know what was happening to me, because all of a sudden I lost interest in being alive. I lost interest in eating, in sleep, in everything. I was dead, but dead alive.
You know, I'm an extremist, so when I'm really happy, I'm ecstatic. And I'm really sad and anxious and depressed, I really withdraw and I become somebody that is inaccessible and unapproachable. And I think those are the telltale signs and responsibilities of friends and family and colleagues to be able to notice when you have kind of question marks. Is your friend going through depression? Is she stressed out? Is she going through anxiety? I think those are the clearest telltale signs for me.
Lillian and Hlubi have been in the public eye for years, Lillian having played Sister Bettina, a nurse battling depression in Soul City, and Hlubi, a depression-prone HIV-positive patient called Nandipa in Isidingo.
What was it like for you working through those roles and your personal illnesses, but also being able to relate to your audiences?
It was a blessing for me because I knew playing an HIV-positive character, the producers want to inspire hope and educate people. So that was a great premise for me to not be Hlubi. I know that I've got a job to do because that became my lifelong legacy. I'm still an HIV ambassador. As Mum Lillian does, we do a lot of social justice work. And really that does defer you away from your own problems, and you actually have and gain perspective that, you know what, I might have problems, but people have got bigger problems. And it just puts a bit of reality check into your own lives.
Also, being an actress, I'm always portraying other people's lives.
So true.
And I've got no time for my own rotten life. So that is my coping mechanism.
That's so true.
Yes.
Love that, Mommy. Love that.
Yes.
We work in a tough industry. We have pressures coming at us from different directions. What were the challenges that you faced, or do you think people are still facing, being in the public eye and dealing with depression?
I never consider myself a celebrity. I'm a people's person, and that's why it's so intrinsic for me to have these kinds of conversations, because you don't want to put the wool over young girls' eyes to say this is the life you're going to live. But at the same time that we can be our heroines of our own destiny, and that can be aided by people who have gone through the same walk and talk as you have. You have to be your own heroine, and you can't go around looking for people to do it for you. Sometimes I think the strongest of us all is because we walked through the fire and never want to bypass it.
My advice to people who are suffering with depression, I want to say to them, they are very lucky today because there is SADC, South African Anxiety and Depression Group, and they're most helpful. You can phone them anytime. Also, you can also phone me. I'm now an expert.
That is such a great point.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
How old are you? 95?
Mommy!
Wisdom, such wisdom.